After E.T. made a huge splash at the box office in the early 1980s, it didn't take long before imitations started to appear to try and cash in on that success. And if Mac and Me is E.T. if it was a giant McDonald's commercial, Extra Terrestrial Visitors is E.T. if you removed everything that made it an interesting movie. Hey guys, welcome back to the show, and what's funny about this movie is that apparently it was originally supposed to be an alien horror movie, but the producers then ordered changes to the script so that it could capitalize on the success of E.T., which had just come out. The result is exactly what you'd think it would be. A movie that has no idea what it's supposed to be and ends up failing on pretty much every level. It doesn't work as a horror movie, it doesn't work as a family movie. If anything, it works as an example as to why they probably should have just stuck with the original idea instead of this half-baked abomination. But I will say that the movie might appeal to people who are looking for that sort of thing, such as myself. I even bought the Blu-ray of this movie because when I watch crap, I like it to be the best looking crap that money can buy. The Blu-ray also comes with a CD, just in case you want to rock out to the soundtrack of this movie, and I'm telling you right now, this is probably never going to be taken out of this case once. It also includes an alternate credit sequence because this movie had an alternate title, Pod People. The weird thing about this is that the footage and the music aren't even from this movie. They're from a movie called The Galaxy Invader, which came out in 1985. The Blu-ray slipcover is reversible, and on the other side, it features what I understand to be the original VHS cover. And you guys know how much I hate dishonest movie posters. Well, this one is just full of lies. On the top, it says, evil, addictive, powerful, electrifying. I don't know who said this, but it certainly doesn't describe anything going on in this movie. There's these hands, and I don't know whose these hands are supposed to be because they're not the aliens' hands, as you can see. This spaceship isn't in the movie, and I don't mean this exact spaceship. There's no spaceship in this movie at all. And this title is clearly trying to fool the viewer into thinking that this is a sequel to E.T. The Second Coming? What does that even mean? But hey, maybe you really like this VHS cover, and if you do, you can apparently buy a framed version of it on eBay for a price. I mean, really, let's be honest here, you're probably just paying for the frame. Anyways, the movie starts with a meteor falling down to Earth while these poachers go out hunting in the foggiest forest of all time. You may be wondering what they're hunting for and why they're going at night. Well, they're looking for nightingale's eggs, which could be worth a fortune, I guess. And they're going at night so that they can collect the eggs under a cover of darkness and fog, and that way the rangers won't see them. It's the perfect crime, really. I probably wish that you thought of it. Also, they're nightingale eggs, so I think maybe they assume that you have to go at night, because it's in the name. So one of the poachers, Sam, tries to tell the others that something crashed into the ground, and the others are like, we didn't see nothing. We're too busy getting nightingale eggs. There's treasure up in that tree. Now go get the ladder so that we can be rich beyond our wildest dreams. There's no rich like egg rich, and I have to say that is true. There's money rich, there's gold rich, there's personality rich, but there's no rich like egg rich. Seriously, how many egg-rich people do you know? That's right, that's like the 0.1%. They're way at the top. So Sam sees a glowing red light and goes to check it out, which is understandable. I mean, I would be curious. I'm not saying that there's gonna be a little miniature red light district in that cave, but you might as well just check to see. There's nothing wrong with that. Just take a peek. I mean, who knows what it could be? Maybe it's the last virtual boy in existence in there. Or maybe a brand new virtual boy that somebody, took into that cave and then totally forgot about. I'd say that's worth taking a look. Anyways, it turns out the meteor landed and crapped out a bunch of eggs. But then Sam realizes, hey, these aren't nightingale eggs. What a waste of time. So he smashes one on the ground, revealing some kind of a creature. So I guess the best thing to do in this situation is to smash all the eggs. You can't leave any witnesses. Suddenly, he's killed by something. Meanwhile, Tommy is eating cereal and looking at bugs, but his Uncle Bill is kind of a jerk about it.
A centipede.
It's a Lithobius vorticatus.
To me, it's a centipede. It's always been called a centipede.
Yeah, get out of here with that old slang or Latin or whatever you stupid kids call it. We only speak dubbed English in this house. Meanwhile, this singer, Rick, is trying to record a song, but he's getting pissed off because it stinks.
No, hold it. It stinks. It stinks.
See, these are just some of the perks of being a famous singer. You get to record in big studios, virgins bring you water, and if things aren't going well, you can always blame your backup singers, who weren't even singing, but that doesn't matter.
You guys are all over the place.
Anyways, after the band is done recording, Rick still thinks the song sucks, so they all decide to go up to the mountains for the weekend, because maybe the fresh air will convince Rick that the shitty song isn't so shitty. So I guess Rick invited Laura, the daughter of one of the bosses, to come on the trip, and she's really into him, even though he's kind of dating Sharon. I'm not sure how official that is, but they make out a lot. Of course, Sharon is upset by this, so Brian tries to smooth things over.
Sharon, deep down, that guy is nuts about you. Making out with chicks is part of his act as an artist. Accept the fact, and if you love him, stand up and fight for him.
Yeah, Sharon, this is kind of a you problem. I mean, making out with different chicks is just part of the job. That's not Rick's fault. You're just not fighting hard enough for him. Maybe if you fought a little harder from the beginning, you wouldn't be in this situation. So, it's actually kind of your fault. And it might actually be your fault why the song is so shitty too, I don't know. So they get to the campsite and start eating some steak, but then Laura and Sharon start trading jabs, and Laura is like, everybody hates me, this weekend sucks, and she runs away.
You know, we have been very hard on her.
And we could think of a way to make it up to her and apologize, but let's finish eating first. In fact, what did Laura leave on her plate there? Pass that over here. So Laura gets lost in the fog, and the poachers try to poach her, but she runs away, and they chase after her, and this is when Laura falls off a cliff, and then an alien hand touches her head, so the poachers are like, oh crap, let's get out of here. Anyways, the group finds Laura, and they're like, oh my god, it really sucks having her on this trip. Now we have to carry her all the way back to the camper. We didn't even want her here in the first place. Thanks a lot, Rick. And they're like, well, she's not dead. We gotta try and wake her up.
She's out cold.
It's because you're using the wrong booze. Here, try this vodka. And, I mean, I brought this wine, but I was kind of saving it for later, you know? And plus, what if it doesn't even work? What if she only likes red? Then we'll really look like idiots. Meanwhile, Tommy wanders into the egg cave and decides to take one of the giant eggs. And then he sees Sam's dead body, but that's not going to stop him from taking that egg. So he takes it home and hears something moving inside of it, and he's like, oh boy, I gotta keep this egg warm so that it will hatch. Because that's what you want to do. You want to hatch the giant egg that you found in the glowing red cave with the dead guy on the ground. I mean, we all did stuff like this when we were kids, come on. So they take Laura to the first house they see, and it's Tommy's house. So they tell Tommy's mom, Molly, and Uncle Bill the situation with Laura, and they're like, she hasn't regained consciousness since falling off the cliff. And we poured booze down her throat, so we've basically tried everything. So Molly suggests that they have some coffee and leave Laura alone, because, you know, a good night's rest is all she needs. And I have to say, she's probably right. I mean, you've all done a lot for her. She's being kind of selfish right now. It's been nothing but Laura for the past, 20 minutes? Carrying her around, bringing her drinks. I think you've all earned a drink yourselves. Plus, she hasn't been very good company since the get-go. And people with concussions can be so annoying. Complaining that their head hurts and that they're dizzy and that the room is spinning. And now what? You've got to babysit her all night because she can't handle her cliffs? You gotta just let her deal with it herself. It's the only way she's gonna learn. So the next morning, Sharon wakes up in a chair and she's like, ugh, my neck is killing me. And all because Laura was hogging the bed all night, surprise, surprise. Then she realizes that Laura is dead, and she runs out of the room to tell the others. And I like how nobody else checked on her in the morning. They all just sat right down to breakfast, which I guess makes sense. They probably figured, you know, if we check on her now and find that she's dead, that will pretty much ruin breakfast completely. So maybe it's better we check on her after we eat. So Brian is like, oh my god, Laura just did us a huge favor because now we don't have to apologize anymore. Also, we're halfway through this movie and you're probably wondering if anything is going to happen with this kid and the egg. Well, the egg hatches and the kid calls the alien Trumpy because, you know, his face kind of resembles a trumpet, I guess. And that's pretty rude, Tommy. I mean, how would you like it if you were adopted by an alien family and they decided to name you Pasty? So Tommy starts sneaking food to give to Trumpy and he's trying to keep him a secret. And Trumpy does some magic crap, which is really not that interesting, especially when you compare it to the other storyline with the dead body and another alien running around killing people and getting shot with a crossbow. I mean, there's your movie. That's what's actually interesting here. All this stuff with the kid is just a bunch of stupid shit that clearly doesn't fit because it wasn't part of the original script. So Tommy's mom hears all this commotion and she comes upstairs like, yeah, hey, can you just stop screwing around and causing a ruckus? I've got problems as it is, for God's sakes. I've got a dead person in the other room I still gotta deal with. I didn't ask for any of this shit. This is not how I pictured my adult life. So Tommy is looking everywhere for Trumpy, but he can't find him. And that's when he discovers Laura's dead body. And you'd think that the adults in the house would, you know, kind of keep an eye out so that the kid doesn't wander into the room with the dead body, but I guess not. Tracy is so horned up in this movie, it's not even funny. She's always talking about hooking up with a guy, even with everything that's been going on.
Oh yeah, these rangers. Are they good looking?
Oh, Tracy.
Just in case, however, I'm going to get my makeup from the camper. Just getting some water for Joe.
Oh.
Joe? Are you hiding a man somewhere in this house?
Joe is Tommy's hamster, Tracy.
Oh, what a shame.
There's a dead woman in the other room, Tracy. I mean, the phone lines are down and the roads are bad, so no one has come to pick up the body yet, so it's basically just rotting in there. I would find that kind of disturbing, and I'm not saying that Tracy should just be sitting there crying about it for days on end. I just find it a little odd that the current situation with the corpse in the other room doesn't seem to prevent Tracy from popping lady boners left, right, and center. So Tracy goes out to the camper, and holy crap, the alien is inside, and it kills her as Tommy watches the whole thing from his bedroom, and Tommy thinks that it's Trumpy. So he's like, dear God, what have I done? That's right, Tommy. You should feel bad. You've been feeding Trumpy and hiding him this whole time so that he can go out and murder people. And for what? A little magic show? If you're gonna harbor a murderer, you should be getting cash money. Also, I have to say that the way this alien kills people is pretty underwhelming. It basically just pushes people and they're dead. And to me, this is the result of not going all in on making this a horror movie. I mean, just look at their faces. You could have done something really cool with this. You could have taken a page out of Alien and made them, you know, stab people through their skulls with their mouths and then, you know, eat their brains or something, but no. They just shove people to death. Anyways, they carry Tracy's body back into the house. I guess no one is concerned about making sure Tommy is okay. He just wandered off because, you know, that's a smart idea. Rick and Bill have a disagreement over if they should stay in the house or leave, and Rick picks up the gun and aims it at Bill. But then he shoots the bottle of booze on the table because firing guns inside the house, that's always safe. So Molly is like, God damn it, you morons, don't we have enough trouble? Everything was fine when there was one dead woman in the house, but now that there's two, you really need to start taking this seriously. So Tommy goes upstairs, Trumpy comes out of the closet, and Tommy is like, oh shit, please don't kill me, you long-faced bastard. I saw you kill that girl, and, you know, to be honest, I don't think we can be friends anymore.
Trumpy, Was it you?
Oh, of course, there's another alien from space who looks exactly the same, and that's who's going around killing all these people. You're really gonna take that chance? Because if you're wrong, everybody dies. But if you're right, what are you really getting out of this? You know, a friend from outer space? Seems kind of overrated. Having these alien friends, I really don't see the benefit. They're gonna eat all your food, and they're hideous as all hell. I mean, what are you gonna do with them? Take them out to the club so that they can be the ugly friend and make you look better in comparison?
Are you saying there's another one?
Trumpy somehow manages to convince him that there's another alien, so Tommy suggests that they hide in the woods, and he gets Trumpy a disguise. And wow, what an incredible disguise it is. I'm sure anyone who sees him will just assume that it's what? The other child who lives in the house wearing a coat? Kathy takes a shower and oh crap, the other alien is in the room. So they open the door and Bill takes a shot at the alien, which just, what, leaves? And Bill doesn't go after it?
Now's the time to finish the goddamn thing off, once and for all. It's wounded and we can follow its trail.
Yeah, or you could have done that immediately after you shot it, you know, when the alien was right there. But no, you just stood there like, yeah, don't come back. And I know I'm sounding like I'm getting a little mad here. It's just frustrating watching this because it could have been so much better if they just stuck with the original vision of an alien horror film. Maybe not a great movie, but definitely better than this. This sucks. So Tommy hides Trumpy in the closet and he's like, quick, if they see you, they'll kill you. And what exactly is the plan here, Tommy? You're gonna live with this thing in the woods? Or what? Try to eventually convince your family that this alien isn't going to kill everybody like the one that looked exactly like it did? So Trumpy comes downstairs and this is just hilarious. Nobody really sees this thing at first. And then they're like, oh shit, we gotta kill it before it pushes us to death like the others. But Tommy helps Trumpy escape into the fog. And my God, I swear, half of the budget for this movie must have been spent on juice for the fog machine. Eventually, the other alien karate chops Bill in the stomach, so he's dead. And Rick finally kills it. And I have to say, this effect actually looks pretty cool. So Tommy realizes that he and Trumpy can never be together because his family will just try to kill him. So he kisses Trumpy on the head and then tells Trumpy that he hates him and to never come back. Then Tommy runs to his family and Trumpy is left standing there. And that's how the movie ends. Trumpy just kind of walks away and yeah, pretty awful. Also, what was the point of putting the Big Dipper on their forehead when they died? You know, what did that was never really explained. I mean, I get that's where the aliens were from or something. They kind of alluded to that at some point in the movie, but I don't know what the point of doing that to the dead bodies was. Was that the one alien's way of maybe leaving a mark for Trumpy? Like, hey, I've been here, killed that. Just follow the trail of dead bodies and we'll be reunited? I don't know. I mean, this movie tries to do two different things at once and ends up being bad at both of them. There's not enough of a connection between the kid and the alien for there to be this heartfelt tearjerker ending like in E.T. And like I said before, it doesn't commit enough to the horror aspect of the alien going on a killing spree, so in the end, it all just falls completely flat. I want to thank all of my supporters on Buy Me a Coffee, Patreon, and my YouTube channel members. I want to thank all of you for tuning in, but that's pretty much it for this one, and I'll see you all next time. I also found this hose in the back, as well as this funnel. I was thinking we could use this. Not on Laura. That would just make a mess. I was actually thinking we could use this for ourselves. Because, you know, at this point, we actually got to kind of catch up to her. Remember when that thing came out and the commercial, I remember, it made it look like this thing was actively hunting down human beings. The controller cord like wraps around the guy and pulls him into the Virtual Boy. Like it's got legs. Didn't have legs. Had the smallest little awkward tripod of all time. I guarantee there's like 5 people in the world and they're just sitting on a mountain of eggs, you know? They're like Scrooge McDuck. They go swimming in the eggs. probably come out with a lot of cuts because of the, the shells. Because they're bound to crack and cut you. It's probably not a good idea to go swimming in a pool full of eggs. If they're hard-boiled, that actually might even be worse.